Hello, welcome, merry meet everyone. This is Serona Rose, and we are going to do an astrology update. This is the chart for the full moon in Aries. This is really going to be a very important full moon. It's going to be one of finding balance in what is our stability. So as you can see here, we've got a lot of stuff going on. We got a nice opposition with the sun and the moon. That's what makes the moon full, is it's opposite the sun because the sun shines on the moon. And then we have Pluto coming in. Now Pluto, he went direct on the 6th of October. And today, which is October the 18th, Mercury and Jupiter will be going direct, and this is really going to help us. You're probably going to feel a shift in energy today because not only is Mercury and Jupiter going direct, the moon is moving into the sign of Aries. So that's more initiatory energies. Now, Aries is about the self, and it's about what is good for the self and taking care of the self. Libra, again, is about balance and relationships. And when I mean relationships, I mean all kinds of relationships, such as partnerships, work, friendships, associates, those sort of things. And as we progress on to this reading, this is the reading for the week October the 18th through October the 24th, we are going to see how this energy today is just a building up of energy for the full moon and what that full moon is going to bring us, as well as the aspects for the rest of the week is going to bring us. This full moon will actually connect us to our Libra new moon that we had at the beginning of the month. And it's going to be it's not going to be intense in a bad way. It's going to be really good in a good way because it is calling for you to bring back your energy and to realize or look again, get a clearer picture of what your priorities are. I've spoke about this before in my other post, and we want to look at ourselves. What are our priorities? Who are you? Aries represents the self, so who are you? Most people they'll say, oh, well, they talk to me about their job. No, who are you? What are your core beliefs? And this has to bring us back to priorities. When we look at the TV today, if we look on social media, we look on these different outlets, we see a whole different world of it seems like people are upset because some movie star wore the wrong label of clothing or their hair was wrong, whatever. While we still have people that are starving to death, and we still have our mentally ill people that are just tossed aside like they are nothing. And I can only speak for the United States because that is where I live. So for the United States, if you go to LA, you go to Skid Row, you hear a lot of talk about that. And, from what we hear that it's pretty much, too far gone. And why isn't that a priority in our world? What is a priority? Now, true, Libra's lesson is that you are not responsible for everyone. That is very, very true. But you are definitely 100% responsible for yourself. So let's take a deeper dive into this astrology, and let's see what all these energies have to say to us, and hopefully this can bring us some better clarity. Before we go any further into the future, let's first replay the past. Remember, last week I did not do an astrology update, so I'm going to catch you up and let you know what has been going on. Back on the 10th, we had the Moon and Venus conjunction. That was really nice energy. The 14th, Moon and a Saturn conjunction. We were reminded about what our responsibilities were, emotionally, meaning our close personal ones. On the 15th, the Moon had a conjunction with Jupiter, and conjunction means they're just right around those same degrees. And on the 20th, we have our full moon coming up. Now, there's a lot of things that I will be going over in different videos because I want to elaborate on it a little bit more. But first, I will explain more into this. On the 15th, when the Sun trine Jupiter, again, that was a lot of passionate energy. It's about going after your passion and listening to your dreams. The 18th, which is today, Mercury and Jupiter go direct. You can feel this really, really strongly. This also is the moon going into Aries, so that is giving us a nice push of energy. Also, Mars trines Jupiter. And this is going to, by the time we finish up and we're going into the full moon, which will be the 20th, you know, we're going to feel that we're coming full circle. Things are going to speed up after today. And we have a very important opposition that I do want to talk about. And that is Mercury, who is in Libra, is going to be opposing Chiron in Aries. Now, Chiron is our wounded healer. And here we are going to want to stand up for those that cannot stand up for themselves, such as the vulnerable and the weak. Again, I'm going to talk about priorities because it's very important what our priorities are. Our priorities can't be on things. They have to be on what is important, such as health, welfare, those sort of things. We have to get our priorities right. And this new happening, this new shift that's coming about is really encouraging us to have that stability and foundation very strong. And that new moon, I mean, that full moon that we're going to have in Aries coming up is really going to push us to get that stable foundation. Now, this full moon is going to connect us to the Libra new moon that we had on the 6th of October. So, you know, we can have some of that full circle feeling that's going to be coming about in the next few days. So the moon tomorrow will move into Aries, and it's going to oppose Mars and Libra. Now, this is also very much about the self and balance. The moon is going to be trining Venus, since that's going to be nice. And then Venus is going to have a conversation with Uranus. So that could do have some excitement in your relationships, have some excitement in your life. Maybe something is offered that may change, you know, what you really value. Something may happen that will make you think again, you know, what is it that I value? Again, this is really causing us to look at ourselves. So let's go on to the full moon, which is on the 20th. The full moon will be in Aries, and it will be at 10:57 a.m. Then it will be void of course and move into Taurus at 3:59 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, because we haven't done the time switch yet. So, this is going to be an intense moon. So those of you who have that are cardinal signs, you will feel this moon intensely. And Mars is in Libra right now too. So this is going to be a little tense as well. Here, he's wanting to go forward, and Mercury saying, we have to use our mind of this, but with Libra being that balancing, it's really going to be felt very hard by Aries, those who have a sun, moon, or rising Aries, and rising is also ascendant. So again, cardinal signs will be touched by this, such as Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. And this is very much going to be an action-oriented moon. It's not really going to... It's going to be about your words, but it's also going to be about your actions, about how you what do you do? What do you physically do? You say you care for this, but what are your actions showing you? So this is a very big energetic, like a tipping point. It's kind of like things are coming to a head. This full moon will take place at 27 degrees of Aries. So that's the last stages of Aries. So it's giving it that last push, that Hail Mary. And this is the sun in Libra will also be conjunct Mars at 23 degrees. So he's, this moon and sun is really being supported by this energy of, we can do this, we're going to push through, we're going to make this happen. So this full moon is at the last degrees, like I stated, and it's going to connect us to the Libra new moon, and it's going to bring our awareness to ourselves and to a sense of self, I should say. So this will be a good time to call back your power, to rejuvenate. In Libra, we want to be of service of everyone. It's so easy to help others. Oh, yes, I can help you. Oh, yes, I can. But what happens in this process is that we normally end up giving more of ourselves than we should. And we have to take a step back in our lives and look at where we are giving too much. Libra's lesson is about balance. So it's balancing this give and take. And Aries' journey, what it needs to learn is to listen to itself, to listen to its intuition. And, to listen to yourself. And many times I know that we have done things and against our intuition. Our intuition will be like, no. You're like, well, whatever. I do this anyway. And it is what it is, right? Well, we can no longer do that, because that is creating an imbalance. That is creating more harm than good. We have to remember not to lose ourself in our different ventures, our different relationships. There's many people who get a job and they work so much that they lose themselves in it. They lose their own identity, and the only thing that they can identify with is that job. I have been guilty of that myself, and I'm telling you, it doesn't take you long to do that. If you really enjoy what you're doing, and it becomes work then, and that is the problem. So we have to bring that energy back to ourselves. We have to call it back. Aries is the self. So this is really taking us to what I have been saying, and what I have been leading up to is, who are you? Who are you? And what do you want to accomplish? What do you want to do? What do you value? What's important to you? Listen to your intuition. Be careful of your energy. You know, we share too much. We share too much of ourselves with the world, and we need to learn how to bring some of that back. Not everybody deserves to have access to us. Not everybody deserves to have our full attention. And let's talk about deserve. It's not that you're better than, it's just that you have to understand where your priorities are. You have to make sure that you are in these relationships and partnerships that you are not getting taken advantage of, and you are not getting run over, and your rights are not being trampled upon. So we really need to listen to ourselves. And, you know, it always reminds me of, you cannot pour from an empty vessel. This is you. This full moon is really good. If you watch the tarot reading, this points on that. Your challenge is the Tower. Are you going to be able to release those things that are not that important to you? Are you going to be able to release those things that no longer serve you? Are you truly going to be able to go forward into your life and to take care of you and yours? Are you going to be able to do this? Are you going to take that responsibility of taking care of everybody off of your plate? It's not your responsibility to care for everybody. And, you know, that's one of the hardest lessons that healers have to learn, is that, you know, you can't help everybody. You cannot help everybody. Now, Pluto went direct the beginning of the month. And this time, right now, he is doing a nice little T-square with the moon and the sun and Mercury. And this is really pulling us back to that self-power. And it's taking us to look at where we are giving our power away to others. So if someone is, every time I just think of them, it burns me up. So you are giving your power over to that person to cause you distress. That doesn't even seem right. This is about being responsible for you. Again, it starts with you. Balance, give and take. There could be a clarity of where you need to be making your boundaries as you go forward in your life. You have to remember your commitments, those things that you have to do. You have commitments. We all do. We have commitments that we have to do every day, but we also have to learn how to balance those with other things as well. And we have to listen to those things that we are being called to do. And that is important too. If we are being called to do something, we need to listen to that. Jupiter's energy, he will be playing into this as well. And he's going to be making you aware of the future. He's going to be saying, hey, you need to look forward. Later on down the line, how is this going to benefit you? Is this going to benefit you? Here you need to keep your eyes on your goal. Where are you going? What do you want to do? Now keep your eye on that, because there could be, on the 21st, the moon is going to meet up with Uranus, because the moon will be in Taurus by then, and he'll meet up with Uranus, and that's going to add some excitement, and it may take you on a different path that you thought that you would, maybe you thought you'd be going this way, and then all of a sudden, you see this wonderful opportunity to do what you want to do in a different way. So this is really good. And Jupiter Mercury direct is really going to push this energy forward. We have several planets. We've got, I believe, 4 planets this month that's going direct. So again, this energy is going to be wanting us to push forward, to move on. But first, we're going to have to leave behind what no longer serves and what no longer is needed. We need to look at our priorities. What are your priorities? Sometimes it's a car, it's a house, food to eat. Those are priorities. Balance is definitely going to be required. We need to think about our safety and security. That has been upheavaled with this Aries. Aries needs that stability, it needs security. And you're not going to have that when you're constantly giving yourself away. So I feel that this full moon will actually provide a wonderful, wonderful option for us to have clarity over where we are going. And we can use this full moon to really tap into ourselves and see what we want and see what we don't want. Now, this is definitely going to be a shift in the energy. Today is a definite shift in that energy. The moon is moving into Aries. We have Mercury, Jupiter going direct. Then the 20th, we will have our full moon in Aries. And then on the 23rd, we'll have another shift. The moon will move out of Libra and into Scorpio, and the moon will go into Gemini. And then we will have our new moon on the 4th of November. So I will come back next week and give a reading on what is coming up for our next week. We have a lot of different aspects that's going on, different energies that are going to add to this. Again, I do feel that this full moon is going to bring us some needed clarity. For this full moon, we're going to have to really get to the heart at what our priorities are, what is good for the self. We have to remind ourselves that we cannot give from an empty cup. That's not what we can do. Balance. And we have to get our priorities together. We have to stop looking outside of ourselves for things and start looking inside. We look outside for happiness. We look outside for love, but we never look inside. And the Aries is about the self. Everybody wants to go into Aries being this warrior, but Aries is also passionate. And he goes after what he wants, and he has dreams, and he pursues those goals and those dreams, and he listens to himself. And that's one thing we have to do, is listen to ourselves. One of the main things that we have to do is show compassion for others, right? But we also have to show that for ourselves. I will tell you, through the lockdowns, through everything that has been going on last year and this year too, there's been a lot of depression with people. There's been a lot of people having mental problems that are not getting addressed. Mental problems is nothing to be ashamed of. Everyone goes through depression at some time, but there's many people who have those chemical imbalances, and they do have those other problems, and we need to make sure that we are taking care of the vulnerable. And that is exactly what Mercury and Libra opposing Chiron and Aries is really urging us to do, is to stand up for the vulnerable, stand up for those who cannot stand up for themselves. But at the same time, you're going to have to balance your life, not give too much. Make sure you have that nice balance going on. And what I mean really is those relationships that take more from you. Unfortunately, we do have those relationships where people like to take more than they give. They want to tell you all about their problems and they want your help, but they never want to hear what's going on in your life and help you out with what's happening with you, those kind of things. That's what I'm talking about. We have to reassess. We have to reprioritize. That is what the retrograde period is about. It's about reassessing these things and going back over it, especially Mercury. Mercury gives us a moment to it gives us, in his retrograde motion, it gives us a chance to have a second chance, to fix things, to finish things, to bring ourselves, about in a better way. So really pay attention to, be self-aware in your actions. There are things, just because somebody doesn't agree with you, it doesn't make them a bad person. And just because you don't agree with other people doesn't make them a bad person. We have to understand where the middle of the road is. And if we're operating too far to our negative or too far to our positive, we are robbing ourselves. And that is not a balance. We live in a world of polarity. And in this world, in order to find that balance, we have to find that sweet spot that's right in the middle. Understanding what humanity is about, understanding what being human is about, being a spiritual being, having a human experience. What is this human experience? We need to really look at that. And are we living in an evolved way? Are we doing what we can? Are we being good stewardess to this earth? Are we being good people, period? Because that is very important in our complete makeup of our relationships, our actions. You can definitely say your point, and you can definitely stand, in what you believe in, and still respect others, and others should still respect you. There is a time and place for destruction, because things, we do get to a point where, this isn't working anymore. The core may be great, but there are some other things that are really not working, and we need to fix those. In our tarot reading today, we have the Tower card as our challenge, and that is the biggest thing. It would really behoove us not to play in to the mental games, and to remember what our dreams are, what do we value, what is truly valuable to us, what is good for your energetic body. So that being said, I'm going to leave you with that. I hope you enjoyed this reading. This is a lot of energy. There's a lot to talk about. I could go on for hours and hours talking about this. But just know that this is a really good time to, release those things that are holding you back. Listen to your intuition. Listen to your intuition. And understand that you are a spiritual being having a human experience, but everybody else is too. And we can't get so, we can't get our vision so tunneled that we neglect those other things that are very important. So I do feel that for this full moon, it would be really good to ask yourself, what do you value? What do you believe in? Who are you? What feeds your soul? Those things are very important. And to remember who you are. You are not a job. You are not your car. You are not your house. Who are you? Not the outer, the inner. So I wish you many, many blessings, chakras. This would be a good time for the full moon to balance your chakras, to get a nice chakra cleansing, and work on your grounding, work on your foundation. All right. Y'all have a great one. I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful week, and full moon blessings to you all. And happy birthday to all of you Scorpios out there as the sun moves into Scorpio on the 23rd of October. Many blessings to you all. Thank you so much. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you will be notified when I do make a new post. And support. If you think anybody else would like this video, please share it with everyone. All right, you have a wonderful day. Blessings.